Our final matchup of the day is mere seconds away. And you know that's truthful because it rhymed, Nicholas.
Yes, because anything that rhymes must be true.
That is correct. G2 versus Soniqs. We saw their two fellow group mates in both FaZe and Sandbox do battle just a couple minutes prior to this event starting, roughly about 20 minutes or so. And of course, FaZe Clan coming out on top means that they have now captured one of the two spots in this group to go to the playoffs on Friday. You will see them on the main stage, and all of the thousands of attendees who will be here will also see them on the main stage. But another team from this group needs to join them.
Yeah.
The ultimate chaotic result would be Soniqs winning in regulation. That would make it so that G2 had 5 points, Soniqs had 4, Sandbox had 3. Could that happen? Who knows? We're
possible.
We're going to go to Oregon.
That we are. The conflict map that we call it, or that I call it rather. Last time these two teams met each other yesterday, it was a case of theme park, where Soniqs were up 5-1.
I flipped a coin.
Who won?
I don't know.
We'll find out very soon.
There is no coin.
Imaginary coin.
Imaginary coin.
Fitty, baby.
A coin flip map where the good teams go to die.
Yep.
As we call it.
But which team is the good team in this case? That is what I wonder, right? Because argument has been made that G2 had a really bad standard season of EUL for the first 4 play days. Then they became Super Saiyan. They were great. Soniqs, they ended up doing really great in North America, but it's done terribly at this event so far. We'll find out right now, right here. We're flying into Oregon.
Literally flying.
Literally, right here. Whee, ooh, up, down, in, out, in the basement all of a sudden. Woo! As the bomb site that most people start at. Let's see if these teams will as well. But a bit of a barn burner matchup. And of course, you got a few memes and storylines like Alamau wants to retire Super. And if G2 were to effectively beat them right now, that is pretty much what would happen, essentially.
Just to get this out of the way, Ali Mao does not want to retire, just in case anybody misheard what you said.
Want to retire Super.
He wants to be the one to force Super into retirement. That is correct. Super announced before this event that he would no longer be an active competitor in Rainbow Six Esports. He is retiring. He's donezo. He's out of here. This will be his last event.
Yep.
A loss right now in regulation for the Soniqs would all but spell doom. And in fact, I actually think it would spell doom for them because right now Soniqs are at a single point.
Yeah.
A loss in regulation for the Soniqs would catapult G2 up to 8 points. There are only 6 points remaining, which would mean that at that point, Sandbox could theoretically still make it with their 3 points if they won both of their matches tomorrow. But the Soniqs would not be able to. I don't believe we've said goodbye to a team yet. I don't think there's been a single team that has been sent home officially. There are some teams that are at like 5%, but I don't think in terms of statistical likelihood, I don't think there's a single team that is impossible for them to make it.
Not yet, but I believe you're correct that that is not the case, or that is the case right now, rather.
Operator bans come in, by the way. Thatcher banned out by G2, as is Wamai. Soniqs banning out Ying and Azami.
So, Soniqs back in Stage 2 of NAL were actually one of the first teams to ban the Azami when she was first introduced to the Pro League. So, in that regard... Sorry?
I think you predicted that.
Yeah, I did, because I figured that was going to be the angle. Because they played like Exit or something first, and it was like on Bank, I think it was. So like it made sense, something like that. Something like that. But they're banning it once here again. Of course, Asami, those keeper barriers, they do make it so much harder to attack. And Soniqs, they are in the attacking side first. And I think for this matchup, you really want to try and get as much out in the beginning, build that momentum, gain that confidence. And as I was saying earlier, last time these two teams played each other yesterday, it was on Theme Park. Soniqs, they started on defense on Theme Park. They were up 5-1. But G2, when they got onto defense, they made a comeback. And G2 ended up winning 8-6. So Soniqs, they know a thing or two about gaining a lead early on and losing it. But they want to do it again by banning out these operators. See what they can do.
One of the words that we would use to describe G2, scrappy. That scrappiness is what allowed them to get almost every single point that was necessary to make it to the major in the first place, as there was a great deal of time where the likelihood of G2 making it was exceptionally small. But guess what? The improbable happened.
It's 4%.
They made it work. Oh, no.
He got it.
Before this match, by the way, for those of you that are not terminally online and or don't use Twitter, Doki tweeted out that roughly 30 minutes before the match, Prano fell into the water in front of the theater. Now, there are fish and algae and all sorts of things in that lake. Apparently, he was trying to retrieve a football and fell into the water. So he, half naked, had to scooter back to the hotel, towel off, change, and then come back in time. Will there be a water buff for G2 and Prano? Will the water be cool enough?
Maybe he was actually one step ahead. We do have Super Too Hot in lobby as well, so...
Will the water cool them off? That's the question.
I haven't seen if Super has done it this match, but last match he was playing with a towel on his head, like a wet towel or something, and it looked quite funny. But also, it's just, I don't know, Super's just one of those dudes. He just does stuff, seemingly for no reason that's funny, but also, he talks a lot of smack, and that's kind of where these storylines between G2 and Soniqs kind of appear from, because Super has been watching the coach teams of EOL slandering G2 every single week, and now he's in a position where G2 could be his own demise for this tournament. Minute left in the first round. Soniqs are slowly approaching the basement bomb, so a little bit behind the pace here. Just got open all the 3 hatches. Gonna start getting that information, try to deny some gadgetry with the Twitch drone, but nothing will be found.
Yes. These matches have been much slower in terms of action today than they were yesterday. They've been still thrilling, but a little bit different in terms of the pacing. Grenade toss down will take out the Twitch drone as there's the final 30 seconds in front of our very eyes. Soniqs' attempt to get to the bomb site will come in a variety of different directions. Rexon, the main lead inside of Freezer. 2 members from Soniqs down towards Laundry as Doki is on the flank. Is there suitable flank watch? I think so, but Doki gets shot out. And look at the look of incredulousness on his face as Grixer technically gets the first kill, but it's a trade. Barrel of the carbine spotted as Rexon punishes him, leaving Citizen in a 1v3 as all of his teammates die by the wayside. But he's case control, and Citizen is in a beautiful spot. Oh, secondary sidearm, and the clock runs out on Soniqs. What a confounding end to the round, as that looked so winnable. And yet they dropped the ball either way. G2 steals round 1.
The top position. The one thing that really fell apart for Soniqs is that 3 members pushed Freezer. Only 1 member was on Laundry stairs. That one person had the diffuser. So the 1 kill Citizen got early on that round happens to be the most important one because all that bomb site control that Soniqs got on the back end doesn't matter. They gotta retake Laundry now, the entirety of both bomb sites to pick back up the diffuser, to then go back in and defuse, or rather plant the diffuser, and that right there eventually cost them the round because Citizen, he won the ones twice. Then diffuser down the ground, no more time, can't push up, nothing can be done about it. And you said that G2's a scrappy team, Parker, and that is a scrappy round, but it's a round 1 regardless. Citizen 3 kills, Virtue 1, 5th was never found. Doki had that flank, but it was covered by Soniqs. Well done to them in that regard, but very, very slow pace cost them in the end.
I mean, it certainly looked like the guns from Soniqs were hitting, but bad coverage as that push came in, and the case was surrendered, as you pointed out, in a bad spot. Unretrievable. That's a particularly damning result. Instead of going up to the usual secondary bomb site now in round number 2, G2 will opt for what is often the most common tertiary bomb site of Meeting and Kitchen. Kitchen is a fixture for both of these main floor bomb sites. One connects towards the Meeting bomb site, the other connects towards the Dining Hall bomb site this time around. The focus for Soniqs will be to get in, clear out dorms from above, potentially take back tower, and then just restrict G2's defenses to the kitchen area, unless they opt to maybe go for a kitchen take, but most commonly we will see Meeting being the focus. Meeting is still the focus, but look at the difference that we see. An Electric Claw juggled out, takes out a single Selma. That's a piece of hard breach from Ganzen that is now denied. Meanwhile, the opening that was created would stare directly into the Talon shield in the hands of Osa from Super.
I like this relocation from LMR as well with that shield, allowing him to play more aggressive in front and forward because this is a lobby direct attack where it looks like they want to open up this single wall, then get into Osa's shield, and then try and plant behind it. But because the Kai Claw got rotated mid-round as well by Prano, they're in a tough spot. They can now throw in a grenade, kill the Claw, then throw a Selma on the wall again. That's going to open up an angle. But with LMR rotating this shield, as well as the fact that Citizen and Prano both have a C4, 2 impacts on Doki. That's going to cause issues. So Yeti, he found the flank, found the entry, found the kill.
And he's in right now, wary, of course, of the Banshee. Malusi gets Doki running, and both kills on Doki so far have come in the same spot. Another early lead for Soniqs. They had it in the previous round, and Nitro Cell goes out, and Super behind the shield perishes from it. Well tossed by Prano, and what was funny, Super referring to Prano as Planto because of the way that he doesn't really like G2's plants, but look at this. Revenge. A dish best served cold, and there's not a lot of cold to be had here in Berlin, but still, Prano's got those ice in his veins despite the temperature. Kansan holding onto the diffuser at the halfway point. Rexen will cover. Prano relocating. Where is Virtue? That's the question. Diffuser goes down inside a kitchen. Virtue from above, but he's missed the boat on that one. Over towards security is where the two Soniqs players will sit. A drop from Virtue will need to come in. That'll be some noise. Unfortunately for G2, Prano rocking that 3 armor operator means that he'll be making a ton of noise. Virtue spotted from above. Rexen finishes him off. Prano closing in on Kansan, but doesn't have much information and is now running out of time. Towards the top of the stairs, being guarded by Rexen. Now Kansan knows a nice shot from Prano, but you've only got 8 seconds to get to that diffuser. Kansan knows he doesn't need to go anywhere. It's a drop from the Kaid, but it's Kansan to seal the deal, as the timer likely would have done it either way. Soniqs lost round number 1 in heartbreaking fashion. They look much cleaner on round 2. They tie the game.
All on the all off of Yeti there in the beginning. He really found the opening to create that chaos and the space for something that they needed. Found not just one kill at the back end, found a second one as well. Took entire kitchen bomb site control. And sure, they went for the plant. C4 came out, shut down that part of the map. But then Soniqs made a smart rotation, picked up diffuser, ran for the hills to the other bomb side, and they were a little bit faster, quicker on that rotation than G2 was, as Virtue had the right idea, flanking above towards that kid's bedroom hatch, but a little bit too late as the plant already had gone down. Then, of course, you had a member of Soniqs rotating up above in the box. That helped them solidify their post-plant position with that vertical control, because that is so important once diffuser is planted. That's going to take us to the secondary bomb site on the 3rd round, because we did do that tertiary bomb site second choice. Kid's bedroom is where we're going to be finding ourselves, and this time around, we're not going to see a shotgun on Alamau on the Ela, but instead we'll see a Vigil be brought out, which actually, Vigil's pick rate across professional play right now is absurdly low, because you don't really get anything else but just a gun, and typically you want the gadgetry like the Banshees on Melusi, Valkyrie cameras, ADSs, you name it. So, finally seeing some Vigil could be a good thing. However, at the same time, does Oregon don't really have that many places to play in. That is not commonly known by the attackers. Yeti still sitting on the Nook, or sorry, Grixer this time sitting on the Nook. Last time that was a big win condition. Will it be that this time again? Or will it be super too hot on the line that can stop G2 in their tracks, besides the Vigil, as that active gadget will allow you to move through the scanner?
The Nook that Yeti controlled before, obviously going sight unseen and doing some serious damage in the process. Citizen on a one-man hold. Almost clutched out on round number 1 in terms of kills. 1 because of the timer. Now it's a double swing, and Yeti collects the first kill on the Citizen. A follow-up was there. Doki will escape. Likely get spotted by the E1D, but Grixer doesn't check his corners. Alimau is a rat on the main stairs, doing rat things, gnawing through the entry in that Nook that you had talked about. A very pivotal role. Not going to be on the board for the final 2 minutes of this round.
That is not, and of course, it's not a great position to be in, but at the same time, Yeti finding that kill on the Citizen is 1C4 off the board as well for the defenders, and that's going to put you in a decent position, because on this top floor defense, you want to have vertical control to utilize that exact piece of utility, especially given that the Valkyrie cameras are going to bring bomb set information. Soniqs won't have to worry about that anymore. But still, got to find a way in, got to find more kills. Virtue lurking down below. I don't think they know his whereabouts. Perhaps they do. Actually, in fact, take that back. That nade was aimed for the ceiling, not the ground.
I don't know if they know that he's there, because Rexen has now turned his back to where the Vigil could swing from. No, they obviously do not know he's there. There's no coverage for the flank, so Virtue can sneak up at a moment's notice. He'll have to go quickly. He's losing some of his soldiers. The Vigil is undetected, by the way, when his cloak is active, and he's going to need to clutch out now in a 1v4. He gets a single kill, but the coverage from Soniqs is too good. They trade well. And SQ takes the lead.
That's a tough position to be in if you're Virtue, because had he flanked a little bit earlier, he basically kills the two members that got 3 kills between them up that wide staircase. But instead, he was waiting, thinking maybe they do know me here, maybe there's a drone, or maybe something's not quite right in his gut feeling. But either way, him not finding that opening essentially cost his teammate the bomb site. Then he was the last man standing, and that causes an awkward position as you gotta retake the entire bomb site. Good news with G2. We're going back to the basement where we found success in the first opening round. It was a scrappy one. Citizen winning that 1 versus 3, essentially due to the diffuser case being on the floor. Virtue is hovering, or playing rather, the Warden, despite the fact that Ying is no longer in play as it's banked out by the Soniqs. But of course, a blitz is possible. Flashbangs are common, etc. Never about operates great.
So, I talked about the statistics before we got into the matchup, Nick, and they are on your screen at the moment. If the Soniqs win in regulation, they still don't have the greatest shot of making it to the playoffs on Friday. Only 27% likelihood if they prevail over G2. G2 still the heavy favorite to make it with a 50% chance with a regulation loss. If the Soniqs lose in regulation, that's it. They're out. They do not go to the playoffs. Super's last run at a major will be finished in group stages. If G2 wins, the likelihood of them going to the playoffs, very, very high. Sandbox will still be able to catch them, but it will require them to win outright in regulation in both of their matches tomorrow. That's the map that we're at right now. Grixer dies early yet again. This time he is the first death on his team and first death in the matchup. Unideal to have your Finka go out so quickly. That was Citizen who took the engagement and got that first pick.
That's correct. Kansen, missed opportunity, doesn't really find any of the kills there. Does a bit of damage onto Prowler, nothing major. But they have gotten a significant portion of the map in control now. This is a basement roam for G2. And Soniqs, they have successfully... okay, I don't want to say successfully roam clear because they've lost a member, but they have gotten what they want in the sense that they've gotten the entirety of the map besides the basement itself. Yes, they are playing 4 versus 5, but their pace, 1 minute 52 seconds, and the entirety of the map is clear, is actually ahead of the average curve that is usually about the 1 minute 30 second mark. So they have more time than previously for 1 member less. How's that going to work out? We'll find out because honestly, losing the finger, losing Grixer is not ideal.
Now you lose the nades, you lose the destructive capabilities, you also lose the staying power that comes with the Adrenal Surges. You now lost Kansen 2 to Citizen, a second kill. As G2 will maneuver their way towards the entry points to the basement, completely stopping Soniqs and shutting them down as they attempt to take map control and walk in that diffuser. Soniqs are a very execute-heavy team. Super will try to get that diffuser planted as much as humanly possible. If that's the goal right now with a minute to go, it means that Yeti and Rexen will be in a 2v5, hoping to make those numbers more favorable for Soniqs, but things go from bad to worse. Yeti is down, Toki falls to Super, and Ali Mao to Rexen. Suddenly Soniqs can hit their shots, and what was a 3v5 has become a 2v2 as Brano falls. Super down to Virtue, so Rexen inside a freezer! A nice shot on the Virtue, but Citizen is there for the insurance. Starting off the round and closing it up as well. G2 answers back, and they tie the game.
Rexen takes some shots in that round, saw the toe of Prano, I believe, and shut him down with a clean spray right off the rip. 2-2, round 5, meeting hall kitchen hovered by G2. Despite not finding success there, they are going to go back there as a second priority once again. It was a close round, remember? It was a direct lobby attack from side of Super and the Soniqs. Got shut down by G2, and then the Soniqs rotated to kitchen, got down that diffuser. 2v2 in their favor, came down to a 1-1 with time on their side. They got that victory. G2 will try again. Yeti going from the Nuke onto Amaru, could be a big tower entry point perhaps. Super, of course, bringing the Osa. This is very, very common where with the attacker repick, you can get the perfect operator for the attack that you want. And Osa, on this meeting attack in particular, is like the #1 priority. Whether you go for a big tower attack, the shields are so important. Lobby side, shields important. Kitchen, not as much. But perhaps something else is in their minds because they've just last second gone off the operator. Also gone into a Buck to support that situation as well with that secondary Heart Breach gadget. So limited Heart Breach, a lot of aggression. With the Amaru and Lion combination, this could be a quick one. They want an entry somewhere with how fast they're approaching this building.
I would like to see a quick execute onto Oregon. We've seen a couple so far throughout this entire event. You and I casted one yesterday, and I think it was the Wolves Gaming Gladiators game where they used the blitz on blue down below. But who knows if that will come about. You don't really run an Amaru to wait to use her ability in the final seconds unless you decide that Mass Confusion is the time and opportunity to slingshot your way up, potentially through the window to dorms, but that's not the bomb site here yet. Again, the rotation from G2 does not go to dorms as a secondary site. Instead, it's meeting yet again. There you go. Yeti's attempt is going to be over towards the dorm windows. There's two separate players inside of it by G2. Kanza will be the one to assess whether it's safe for Yeti to vault on up. No is the answer. Both Prano and Citizen are just laying in wait, tempting Yeti to go in. Is he going to go for it? There's no way he does this. Come on, Yeti. Do it. E1D goes out. Tension reigns in. G2 have repositioned. Yeti still has it out. Could he potentially go? No, he's thinking otherwise.
Planting?
Maybe plant going down from
what?
Super. Nobody seems to know this.
What?
Now it's Yeti's turn to get upstairs. Maybe. The Amaru's been the focus, but the diffuser is down, and not a single person is dead in the server. Rexen dropped. Super follows up. G2 finding their mark. Yeti is in. Prano says no thanks. Only Virtue has died from G2. That leaves Grixer in a 1v4 with the diffuser still within time. Doki on it. Down goes Grixer. What a gamble from Soniqs, but G2 shuts the door.
I mean, they didn't even breach the wall. They literally walked in the double door from
Nobody
lobby.
was on site for G2.
The distraction worked, I guess, but what? And the post-plant wasn't there for Soniqs, right? Didn't have the Heart Breach, couldn't play from lobby, couldn't play far away, no verticality, and I mean, Yeti even committed to the Amaru plan of going into Kid's bedroom, but at what cost? He just died immediately after, and nothing really came around from it. And now we're seeing something even more ridiculous. Doki is playing Clash on a Kid's bedroom defense. Nothing is making any sense whatsoever. First of all, Doki of all members, not Prano, not Virtue, it's Doki. And it's on a Kid's bedroom defense with nades are below, verticality, etc. Sophia's been played before, Twitch has been played before. Now we're seeing a Kali from Grixer to try and match the Clash, but he changes his mind. We saw a Capital being considered as well, so Soniqs trying to figure out what direct counterplay to the Clash that they want, but it seems like they're just opting with those grenades. They have 6 of those on Ayana, Finga, and the Nook. Ace is the Heart Breacher of choice. It's a safe, long-distance Heart Breach with a great gun, the AK-12. Arguably one of the best weapons in the entirety of the game. Not a bad choice at all. Citizen, of course, is picking his most preferred gun, as Citizen does. He's one of those gunners, as we say, who just finds gunfights.
He likes the field.
And then wins the gunfights.
LATAM used to be like that as well. There'd be times back in 2017, 2018.
Oh, yes.
As Prano goes down very first death.
That's easy.
Leads things off. Where LATAM used to be a feels region as well, where they would run operators that you'd scratch your head at and go, that doesn't really make sense strategically, but they just like the L85, they just like the C8, they just like the G36C. You know, maybe they don't even use the operators effectively, but they like the guns.
Yuna on FaZe back then actually played Finka before it was cool. He was like the inventor of Finka.
I remember Finka was a niche pick at the time.
Yep.
And FaZe would run her along usually with a shield. They also loved to play Monty, if you recall, when Monty was not even close to really that effective, but FaZe made it work.
They did. They've created some meta games themselves and affected the game at a great length. And Doki is trying to sap away at the enemies, but nothing really comes about it. Selma Charles gets shot. No value to be had there. And I mean, this is what you do with Clash, right? You use it as a mobile, deployable shield, essentially. Gain some information, try and get a kill or a swing around. But again, for this bomb site in particular, the Clash is a very peculiar pick because you have a white staircase, the armory staircase, and then verticality and like the window jump in. The Clash can't do a whole lot, and the bomb site is very open, so many angles to worry about. So once Soniqs close in, And Clash has to worry about so many things. Look at this. That's one of the things. Barely does damage, but that nade a little bit deep into the bomb side does a ton of damage instead.
Well, there's an adrenal surge to give everybody a little bit more HP. No real potential for that on G2's side of things as they reposition 2 T5s in their hands with both Virtue and Citizen able to control that low recoil, high rate of fire weapon. Off site and down below, Citizen still wasting time. Another nade goes in, doing a ton of damage to Doki. Citizen looks the wrong way and Grixer is there with an easy pick. Citizen's attention was over towards the player in Garage, but it was misplaced. Gumine hit as the Soniqs assault will now begin up white stairs. Doki, with the shield out, will need to do even more work, but he's very wary of where he turns his back to. Soniqs will storm in. Down goes Doki. It's Virtue in a 1v4 as the adrenal surge wears off, and Terrium through the wall. Cans in with the kill to tie the game and send us into the second half with both teams at 3 rounds.
Yeah, an Argon that is dead split down the middle means that it is anyone's game, but again, the clash there, as we saw, one Soniqs that got towards the bomb side. There's too many angles to worry about. He only had 1 HP left. Actually got injured, I believe, by Virtue. He shot him once in the back and he's moving around. Wouldn't matter either way, I don't think. But, yeah. Nice try. Different pocket strats from G2, but Soniqs, they reign supreme. Having a better read on that round for sure. But also that early kill with that grenade on Soprano really sold G2 short, because being down a gun when you're playing in a Munty or Clash means that typically you have one less gun already. Losing that opening kill means you're down 2 guns than you normally would be if you didn't play those operators. Soniqs showing the mirror on the board. There's 2 ways to go about this. Either both of these mirror windows can be put downstairs on the bomb site itself and you're going for a bunkering turtle defense. Or you slap one below to assist the bomb site and one above the extended roam game. Given that Soniqs have reinforced the meeting hatch, that seems to be more of a turtle strat. And yeah, Super are going to put down those mirror windows in the basement, it seems, as there will not be a huge roaming presence, at least at a first glance. Since there is no kite in play, I doubt he's going to put the second one in electric. Freezer makes a lot more sense because that meeting hatch will be opened up regardless. Even if Kai was being played, Prano has matched the Maverick, so those things could be taken care of. That's the kind of mind games that these pro players are thinking about constantly. Kite versus Maverick versus Thatcher. Always keep those things in mind as you go through your bomb site setup. Super chose what I would say was the right call.
It's almost like a game of rock, paper, scissors, right?
It really is, actually.
Reloading! It's the flexibility that comes with this game. The good news is that as the amount of operators have grown in numbers, the operators that can counter each other have grown as well, right? At one point, if you wanted to counter throwables, your only option was Jaeger. Now you have Lamont. Now, to a certain extent, you have Aruni, yeah, on defense. So
can you believe that we, at a time back in the day, we only had Thermite as hard breach? If you got spawn peak, that's the round over. You cannot breach anything.
That was it. Yeah, I mean, I didn't cast the game when he was the only hard breacher in the game. I started casting the season after Hibana was added, but I went back and watched a lot of those old VODs, and it's like, the Thermite dies, round is over.
Yeah.
That's it. You're attacking Consulate Garage and Thermite dies.
Good luck.
Yeah, you might as well just run in and kill yourself and get to the next round, because there's no way in hell you're going to be able to pull it off.
Oh, you're right.
So, also, I just wanted to take a second to note how good Rexon's hair looks. I don't know if it's because maybe he's been sweating or what, but Rexon's hair looks fantastic. Yeah. Kudos to you, Rexon.
Good job. Hair game on point. Playing pretty well.
9 and 6. I would say his game is on point altogether. The most kills right now in the server. 1 ahead of Citizen, topping the charts. Citizen unhappy with that nade getting botched, and it goes down, realizing how precious a commodity those grenades are. He's just missed it on one. Doki having a very bad game, and you could see it right from the onset. It looked like his mental was rocked after he died in that second round to another set of bad circumstances after he'd done so previously. A quick round unfolding in front of us, Nick. 45 seconds left. Everybody's still alive. It's a laundry defense. G2 spread out all over the map, as we tend to see when these executes happen.
It's going to be explosive very soon. They have all 5 members alive, of 10 rather, should I say. Canson blowing those toxic babes to stall the time further. Smokes, fires can come out as well, but this is G2. They got to pull that trigger any second now.
Doki rushes right in, and he adds another death to his tally as Rexon gets assaulted on Pillar, and there's a nade dropped into his lap. But the Soniqs guns simply superior. How about a flawless round to start the second half? The Soniqs are just unkillable.
The hardest part on Oregon is typically going to be your basement attack. That's where things get very tough. With Ying being target banned, that's one element of the ball you can no longer abuse, right? Then we gotta talk about stuff like the Capital, the Blitz, the Munty, those kind of execution-oriented operators. And sure, G2, they brought the Capital, but they had almost no time to work with, and even more importantly, the smoke of Soniqs was countering that execute by throwing toxic waves to bottom laundry, basically trading smokes for smokes and not allowing G2 to get that execution. Doki got team kill back pretty effectively, but he was dead regardless, so it wasn't really a huge factor in the round. And Soniqs actually is going to show us a rare sight because they're not going for that meeting bomb site, but rather the kitchen dining bomb site instead. Couple ways to play this. The good old way was to play in showers and impact trick that single wall on your right hand side of your screen, but then people started playing Hibana. Prano at this last second is going towards Hibana because then you can go for a small tower attack. The thing is, there's only one impact grenade left on the side of Soniqs. That's not going to be the strategy. They're doing the very infamous, people are running into Super shot play in small tower, where Super got a 3K last time around and single-handedly won Soniqs the round. Unfortunately, G2, they're spawning lobby and construction. They're not going to be running to Super's bullets in the small tower. We're not going to see that play repeat itself this time around.
By the way, I know that the stream is a little behind, but I just want to read one tweet that was sent to me that I think is very funny.
Okay.
When G2 was completely off the bomb site and the Soniqs walked in and planted for free, Salty, at SaltyR6 tweeted, "Did G2 forget what site they're defending?" And then 20 seconds later, never mind. It takes a big man to leave the tweet up and admit that you were wrong about that one. But Salty, who I believe is actually going to be here on either Thursday or Friday, a long-standing member of the scene. It's
bomb located.
So he got a parking ticket this morning or something like that. On Twitter he tweeted about it as well.
Yeah, well, a small price to pay, I suppose, for being able to own a car in these
60 euros, I believe, actually. So
that is an insanely expensive car. Hello there! Sonic started off their defense with a victory, flawlessly done on laundry just about a minute and a half ago. Now they're downstairs, and we are seeing a very different look from this defense. A bomb site that has not shown up until this point, which is the dining and kitchen bomb site.
It's true. Nice shot from Doki, waking up in the serve with that LMG in hand, finds Rexon. Alibi and Top Gunner off the board, and of course D2's focus right now is taking top floor control to assert that vertical dominance from above. Sophia has breaching charges sledged on the board as well, so plenty of utility to go around, and G2 might not know this yet, but every single member of Soniqs have left the perimeter, but this C4 right there gets the injury. That's not enough. Thinking Boost goes out, back up in the electric, go Citizen, you stay alive.
There's no way to capitalize on that pick or secure it either, so Soniqs get the down, but that's all she wrote for that one. Still one adrenal surge from Citizen will get him back to about half HP. It's a standoff happening. And Shetty's looking the wrong way. Flying under the radar. Virtue inside, meeting Chrono next to him, opening up a small rocket ship-shaped hole into the kitchen wall. Okay. Kansan looking back. The server just goes, You can judge for yourself what the opening looks like. I'm not your parent. Toki with 2 kills. A flawless round from Soniqs just unfolded. A flawless round from G2. Very much on the menu. Will it be ordered in time? Can Grixer do something about it? He's got the clock working against him. There's the rocket ship I was talking about. Take a look at it. Looks just like a rocket ship. It's almost like Grixer.
Take a look at it.
Grixer's like, wait, what does that look like? He gets punched down.
Oh my god.
All smiles from G2 as they tie the game themselves with a flawless round. In the previous match you were talking about, is this the most flawless rounds that we have seen? And guess what? Not only do we get 1 flawless round, we get 2 in their back-to-back.
Spoke to Mandy and Div about that because they were casting the Wolves Gaming Gladiators game at the same time as we were, and they said they had like 2 flawless rounds and 2 aces, I think, in their game as well. So a lot of aces, a lot of flawless rounds. It's like someone's gotta go back and check because it's gotta be breaking records at this point. 16 teams here, 4 groups and group stages, and tons of different statistical records being broken, most likely, but also the opposites that are happening in the close games. We're not seeing like 7-0s or like crazy one-sided games anymore. That really is a thing of the past, both here at the Berlin Major and previously at the Charlotte Major. Very competitive games of Rainbow Six Siege. in this current meta game from all 4 regions to be fair.
10 seconds left before insertion.
Round 9 about to begin. All 5 operators being attacked or repicked around. Prano goes from Hibana to Hibana. Pretty fancy there. Core Citizen gets in the Anima is playing Blitz on a top floor attack, spawning Junkyard. This is pretty much like Doki playing Clash on Kids Defense. It's like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna sprint up the white stairs and kill 4 people? Maybe, maybe not, but we'll find out. Of course, Doki with that finger can help Alama a little bit out with the boost and the Adrenal Surge, health, overheal, etc. Or revive if anybody gets injured. A missed drone. Nope. I think ML feels this one out. Here's the footsteps. One person can hold this camera and say, oh, he's still there. Then go chase him down. I'd almost argue that Animal should get off this camera himself and start sprinting at him. Use that, shield flash up close. And that is the plan right now. Needs a gun behind him in case of a long distance combat comes out. Yeti's smart about it. Walks back into kitchen. Although he is kind of stuck in his position as he runs with the hills, and that he will do. Green hallway he goes into the big tower. He survives another couple of seconds. Citizen tossed out 1 grenade. Didn't really do a lot of damage, none at all, but might have gotten a piece of utility or 2.
And has flown by this round. Yeti still sitting in the back of the tower, watching that attic wall. It's been reinforced. Will need to be kept strong to try and limit the damage that G2 can do onto this bomb site. It could be a full court press through bedroom and through the top of stairs, foregoing attic entirely, once again shoving the defenders into a desired position. Soniqs have a number of players playing off of attic or surrounding it, so if Yeti needs to, he'll have to run down the stairs and up either white or main stairs and hope that there's nobody on flank watch. The good news for G2 is if their focus is on the bedroom closet, there's an opening that's been created by the defense. Valkyrie cameras will signal to Soniqs where the attackers are coming from, providing they don't get shot away.
Okay, it's going to be a big window, white stairs attack, which isn't flanking on Amory's side. So with good timing, you can find something here. We can do damage down. Nothing in the world here. Virtue enabling that execute with the vertical as well. Alamo with the blitz here could lead the charge in towards the bomb side, but can't really get any damage done, I don't think. He has the ADS with his pistol, it's risky. He's exposed and vulnerable. Citizen, important flank.
Oh, and Citizen narrowly missing out on the engagement with 30 seconds to go. There's no Lion on the board to keep them at bay, so they'll have to take the engagement on their own. Ali Mao at the big window as Blitz will be vulnerable when he hops in, but can do some serious damage after that. Citizen gets 1 pick, 2 picks from Ben Huge, but the jump in from G2 does not work as Soniqs can land a counter punch. Doki gets taken down and then suddenly picks up 3 kills as the Soniqs are incapable of answering back with the LMG doing its thing. G2 regains the lead. They're on 5 rounds to 4 for Soniqs.
The Citizen double kill on the Armory side is like the most accurate way to describe what kind of player Citizen is. If you were to ask me what kind of man he is, what kind of player he is,
what kind of man is he? What kind of player is he?
He just 180-degree flicks the flanker in lobby based off sound, flicks back towards the player inside of trophy, gets the ridiculous, basically one-tap headshot and a jiggle peek swing, opens up the entire round. Again, G2 is a scrappy team. They find rounds they should never win. But good teams, bad teams, every single team will get those rounds once in a while. It just happens with G2, they find them a little bit more frequently because Citizen as a player enables those kind of possibilities. Doki, he has his moments. You said Doki had a really quiet game. Guess what? After 2 rounds, he's now 2nd top fragger, 8 and 6. Together with Citizen on 10 and 4. Rexen, of course, doing a big job for Soniqs. But help is long away besides that. 13 kills for Rexen. 2nd top gunner is Yeti and Kenson on 6. So definitely more of a one-man show instead of Soniqs so far. Super, bring out the mirror again in the basement. Same fashion as last time. It's going to be a turtle basement defense. G2, this is where we gotta show us that you learned from the past and you have a different approach now to this round. 1, you gotta go faster. You need more time to work with because those toxic bait flies from Kansen, they slow you down to the last 20 seconds. That's way too slow on your part. 2nd, you gotta try and find isolated members and punish them. You're not playing Hibana, you cannot get every single hatch open up because all you have is Maverick. On a basement attack, this is very, very uncommon. you typically either have secondary hybrids can openers or you have an Ibana. Seeing as neither is being brought, this means you can get 2 hatches opened up at the best with Maverick. And it's going to take a long time as the gadget is the slowest of any hybrids gadget in the game.
See if Doki can actually put the Twitch drone to good use, by the way, or if it's just a gun in his hands. At one point, Doki was, what, 2-6? He's now 8-6. With 3 kills picked up at the end of the previous round, obviously helping his score.
Called him out. He showed up.
I mean, I didn't mean to call him out. He wasn't doing it.
You didn't mean to, you just happened to do it.
I always love my fellow Scottish brethrens succeeding, you know?
Sure.
Because he's not English, that's why.
Touché. Decent value. Got 1 mirror, not the second. Still have smoke grenades available. 2 of those in the pocket of Doki as well, so they can smoke off that mirror window if they want to approach that laundry side. Of course, the backside right now has the least amount of utility in terms of mirror windows, but also the most amount of players. Rexen, Kansan, and 2 members in the hallway can all swing around here and hold that back tower staircase if they want to. The real question is, Prano already breached open 1 hatch. That's meeting. Second one, I believe, is going to be Freezer. Lobby hatch is not going to be opened up at all because can't get it. Sub 1 minute. Banshee on that big tower staircase still alive. Yeah, there it is. Freeze hatch open, but nobody's there to drop it.
Bomb located
by attackers. Is rotating towards that blue area as well. It's going to be a late execute once again. And G2, they have to be explosive.
Mirror being open means that Super doesn't play the smoke inside of Elbow. That's Kansan's responsibility now. So Super will instead be in the closet tucked away with that last remaining mirror as was spoken of. It's a drop, but the nade flushes Grixer off of his position. Rexen gets gunned down from multiple angles. Suddenly the LMG now in Citizen's hand is good enough to tear through 2, make that 3. A 4th as well. Citizen looking for them all. Won't get it because Yeti inside a freezer cools them all off. And suddenly it's Yeti streaking on his own with information. Virtue and Prano standing still. Yeti almost a quad kill with the secure. But it's no ace for either team. Yeti comes so close. G2 moves to match point.
That's absolutely ridiculous. The opening from Citizen getting 4 kills in such a quick fashion, but then Yeti in a 1 versus 5 almost brings it back home to Soniqs. And oh my, and I want to point out, the grenade that Citizen, I believe, tossed from the electric hatch or Doki forced the Warden away, which was going to see them through the smoke, through the flashbang, and that bought them the opening that they needed, and they capitalized on Pillar with 3 members.
That single play, which I believe was Citizen's nade, as you are correct from that, I believe it was Citizen's nade, meant that Grixer couldn't deal with that with electrical box, but most importantly, that meant that Rexen now had to watch those 3 separate angles. He had to watch the blue entrance, he had to watch Pill, and he had to watch the back stairs. If he just stayed in that position, Citizen was coming through back stairs. He could have very easily been shut down by Rexen, who's a great shot of his own, derailing the entirety of G2's push, which meant that when Alamau comes through blue, when you see the drop from Doki, I believe it was, through that electrical hatch or Citizen's hatch, that would have been huge for Soniqs. Still, the fact that Citizen gets a 4K and then still comes down to a 1v1 is enormous.
It is.
G2 has secured overtime now, by the way, which means that Soniqs cannot win in regulation. The only path to victory for them comes through overtime. Now, as far as I'm aware, this does not knock out the Soniqs yet.
No.
The Soniqs must lose in regulation for them to be the first team. As far as I'm aware, maybe.
I believe if they lose in OT, they have like a 4% chance, because I was like, there's like G2's number in the EWL. And then if they win in OT, they would have a higher than 4% chance because they have more points. But yeah, they're not out of it if they go OT, as far as I understand as well. I believe that's
I'm in the same boat as that. Okay. You know what? If almost as if there was a pop-up showing
like,
the problem. Oh my God, there it is!
4 it was.
4% is spot on, my friend. Spot on. It is secured G2 an overtime performance. So they will either win or lose in overtime. They can still obviously win in regulation, but a regulation loss off the cards for G2. Soniqs could be 2 minutes and 30 seconds away from being sent home. As far as I'm aware, every team is still in it.
Yes.
So far.
So Alamao's third round on Blitz. While he is 2-8, he has played some pivotal rounds and pivotal operators in those rounds, and even though he might not be the one to get the value right now on the board, he is enabling his teammates to get that instead. Now, it's not a rush from Blue. It's too common. It seems like it might be a late rush. If anything, they open up the double down electric. Alamao is sitting out there waiting. So I imagine this could be a case of G2 going lobby, going somewhere else, applying like a fake presence, and all of a sudden, Alamao and maybe someone else will rush in through Blue when that distraction comes through. Either way, we will find out later in the round. Right now, Citizen doing an aggressive job. Fast entry, down the staircase, gets the default cam. Has 14 kills to his name out of that 4K. It's Doki's turn on the Fink as they're swapping back and forth between these two members of the G2 roster. But yeah, Alamao, he's looking for the right moment to strike right now on this Blue situation as Prown, I believe, rotates out to help him possibly as well. So I do believe they're going to try and play like a 1-2-1-2 where they're going to cause distractions and not really make Soniqs aware of where the real attack comes from.
Alamao having a very bad game as well.
Statistically, yes.
Statistically very bad. Comparatively bad when you look at the way that he's performed before and what you expect of him. 1 minute left. This round has flown by. If you're Soniqs, you don't want this round to end because it could be your major chances. Look at that. Alamao in, taking the engagement. Quickster the first kill. Alamao somehow stopping the Nitro cell. G2 comes out on top of the first brawl, and it continues to go. Yeti in a 1v3, but Prano with 2 kills sends the Soniqs home. G2 a big 3 points. And the first team to get knocked out of the Berlin Major, the Super Soniqs.
The chat is popping off right now, so I'm just going to put it out there because I think the stream showed it last second as well. Prano said, retire, go home, and then, well, essentially said, go home, and Super go, get a job, you've been dropped.
Oh my goodness. G2 have not yet clinched a spot in the playoffs, but they have ensured that the Soniqs do not go any farther than the group stages. The first team to fall in Berlin will be the Soniqs, and not exactly the way that you want to go out.
No.
They've already announced on G2 side of things that Shas, his contract, not renewed. This will be his final event with G2. A hell of a career if he decides to hang it up. He hasn't really spoken about what his next steps are.
No.
But Super came out before the actual event and said that this would be his last hurrah. He's retiring from competitive Rainbow Six for a variety of reasons. And his retirement will come in the group stages. He will not play on a stage in front of the crowd. And, well, G2 are shouting things at Soniqs. Can't quite hear them. This matchup, by the way, and all of our matches for the day have now concluded because the W7M OXG match finished on the other stream as well. We'll go through a brief recap of what happened today in just a couple minutes. But first, a short break for you. Sit tight. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. Wow, what a result that is. Soniqs gave it their all, but ultimately all they got was 4 rounds. G2 coming away with a victory in regulation, gives them all 3 points, and denies Soniqs a chance to pick up a single point of their own, and thus knocking the Soniqs out of the Berlin Major, the first team to go home. Let's throw up all 4 of the groups for you. We'll start off with Group A. Woo! We saw them in action much earlier today. And hey, North America is not totally bad because XSET is leading the way in Group A.
XSET's half North American, half Latin because of how the roster works. So technically North America is like in the middle of anything, if you ask
Let's not take this from us, okay?
All right. And is on top in a single group, that is Group A, followed by Europe, followed by NIP, that is Latin. And then at the very bottom, we got Damwon Kia, who are still struggling and finding their footing. But they did overcome and win against NIP earlier, which is a big step for them.
These are the likelihoods of them making it to the playoffs. Damwon Kia denying NIP a chance to get close to clinching a spot. Ooh. Everybody is still capable of making it. Okay. Damwon Kia can make it, but it is a tiny likelihood. They must win their next 2 matches in regulation and also ensure that the right teams lose. XSET has almost certainly qualified for the playoffs, but they still have to play the games to get there. NIP has the highest statistical likelihood at the moment by making it in regulation-wise, and I'm assuming that's probably going off of strength of schedule, but I don't know the exact way that we go about it.
That's fair. Group B, as we're sliding on, we got FaZe up top, had a perfect 4-0, no OTs, no nothing. Only team here with 12 points, elevate a second place, I believe, with 11 points. 11 points? Yeah, 11 points. They won less because they got an overtime victory. Mm-hmm. Yes. G2, as we just saw, 8 points now, sitting much more comfortable for the top 4 spot with Sandbox at 3, who can still make it, although less likely on a statistical matter.
Yeah, there's only 2 teams that have won every single one of their matches in regulation, one of which is FaZe Clan. As we noted, Soniqs are going home. They cannot make it. Sandbox still has an outside shot of making it. It's not very high.
Yep.
But it's still there. FaZe Clan have clinched, as you can see, 100% across the board. FaZe Clan could actually just forfeit their next 2 matches. They could just say, you know what, we want Wednesday off. We're going to go and see the most beautiful sights in all of Berlin.
Is that allowed, though? Time. I don't think that's allowed, part.
I mean, I don't know if that's allowed. I'm not entirely certain. G2, providing that they win their matches, they will make it in. Group C was the match that you and I have cast the lion's share of these matches.
Oh,
and W7M with
their victory, yeah.
Dominating performance over OXG. A 7-1 victory propels W7M to a perfect 4-0 record. They have not required overtime even once, and such. They sit at 12 points. Wolves closing in, but these are the likelihoods of any of the other teams making it, as W7M have indeed clinched their spot. Wolves, very, very likely to make it.
Very likely, as expected.
But there is an outside possibility that Oxygen and Gaming Gladiators could be one of the other teams to make it out of Group C.
It's possible, as most other groups, but it's highly unlikely that it's going to be happening. And finally, we got Group D on your screen in just a second here as well to round things off. And look at that. Elevate on top, 11 points. Furious second place. Then you got, to a big surprise for people, Astralis in the last spot. Tied, technically, with Eminem.
Tied, technically, is correct. Almost identical round differential as well. Oh. We love the announcements that happen here. First they tell us that the blinds are open, and now I don't know what else they're saying. Elevate was the first team to clinch a playoff spot today, even though they do trail FaZe and W7M in terms of points. It doesn't matter because it's enough to get them out of their group.
Yep.
Furia, surprising I think a lot of people, as did Elevate.
Absolutely.
This group was very up in the air. Many people from all regions thought that Astralis had a great shot of making it out. And as you can see, the likelihood of them emerging not particularly good. So Elevate, W7M, and FaZe Clan clinching their spots. 5 more teams will join them tomorrow. Who will it be? That is the real question. And as you can see, while it seems like some teams are all but guaranteed, we have witnessed crazy stuff on the final day of groups where sometimes teams just plain forget to play. And they watch their chances crater, resulting in heartbreak.
We'll find out. But tomorrow is guaranteed to be a great game because we're going to see exactly who qualifies and what kind of madness that's going to ensue. Also because with the teams, some teams being qualified, they could play more or lose to conserve energy, strategies, etc. They're not going to take the time off, Parker, because that would be crazy.
Of course.
But they, of course, could take a more relaxed situation and, save themselves for playoffs.
There's also some theory crafting that goes into who gets in based on the teams that are at the top. For example, we saw it at the Charlotte Major. There was a matchup where I think it was OXG. They played Direwolves. If they had lost to Direwolves, a.k.a. they wouldn't throw the match, but if they decided, maybe we're going to take this match easy. Maybe we're going to try out some stuff. We're going to conserve some strats. We have no reason to try. We've already made it in.
Yeah.
It would have guaranteed that Direwolves would have made it into the playoffs over Team 1.
Yeah.
So there will be teams who will be gatekeepers, and they can look at a potentially weaker opponent and say, if we lose this match, a weaker foe makes it into the playoffs, which means maybe our path to the finals gets a little bit easier, and there's some strategizing to do there.
Yeah.
Will teams do that? Will they play their hearts out? Will they take some time off and maybe play a map that they don't usually play and save strats and not, I guess, show off the goods?
Yeah.
I mean, who would save strats?
G2 would know a thing or two about that. And it seems like they have it once again because it's working out all of a sudden, right? Since Game Day 5 of EUL, they've been storming and cruising through it. And now they get to send home Soniqs, the first team as well. So kudos to G2 for saving strats.
We got to see 3 teams make their way to the main stage on Friday, and we got to see another team say goodbye. Full day. But we go into the final day with pretty much every team still in contention, which is really exciting and, frankly, is a bit of a rarity when you look at the major stages. So, through and through, from our first match until our last, it has been a barn burner, as Nick said. That said, that's it for us. We're all done. The other stream is done. We're done. We'll be back bright and early tomorrow morning for the conclusion of the group stages, where 5 more teams will lock in their spot for the main stage on Friday, and 7 more teams will be going home. Who will it be? We'll find out tomorrow morning. See you then.